So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first?
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Who Talks First. I am Courtney.
And I am Solo Grayson.
And this week's episode is going to be about the much critically acclaimed Netflix series, Stranger Things. We were in love with the series and thought it was very merited of it to deserve its own podcast.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about it and review it. And the whole review basically is that we loved it. The
Yes.
end. That's it.
Also, spoilers. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it. Come back, listen to this, because we're gonna just talk about the entire
we're
show.
definitely going to spoil the whole thing.
Yeah.
So be prepared for that to happen. So I was very hesitant to start watching Stranger Things.
You were. You thought it would be too spooky.
I did! And
those
Solo
of you-
had seen the first
yes.
episode before I had watched it.
Also, just for those of you who don't know, Courtney is a big pansy.
Oh, huge.
Huge pansy. I love horror things. Love horror movies, but Courtney, pansy.
Yeah. And I don't mind thriller. I shouldn't say suspense. There's like certain things that I like, because I love watching like ghost shows and I like watching murder shows, and I think it's because I like figuring things out. So I'm like, ooh, watching things unfold, and it's kind of creepy, but I don't like blood-curdling murder, like,
You don't
violently.
You don't like violence.
I don't like violence, I don't like gore. Okay, those are the words I'm thinking of, but
Yes.
I like mystery, like mysterious stuff. So,
But you can't deal with, like, even really heavy, like, spooky, can you?
I don't like jump scares. I think.
Oh, yeah.
No. But it kind of depends. Like, a movie's like, this isn't a horror movie, but like The Sixth Sense I really like. Even
Right.
though it's a way. I like M. Night Shyamalan when he was first doing his thing, because I like Signs a lot too.
Yeah.
But then he did other things that, not a big fan. But
I mean, most people aren't.
I don't like jump scares. I don't like things that advertise themselves as horror films, because the point is to scare you. And like something like Stranger Things, I don't feel like the point is to scare you.
No, it's just to deal with supernatural elements.
Yes, exactly.
And make you think about the 80s again.
Such nostalgia. It's really great. So, Solo had already seen the first episode. She convinced me to watch it, and then we spent like the whole next day watching all 8 episodes.
Yes, I wasn't living with you at the time yet either.
Oh no, you weren't.
And
No.
there were a few days where it was awful because we had to wait a few days before I could come back over and watch the rest of it.
And it's an awesome series.
It's an excellent binge series too.
So, first and foremost, just highly recommend. I think if you haven't seen it, you've probably stopped listening to this by now.
Yeah, we're true.
But either way, watch it again. I'm just saying it. So, what were your favorite aspects of the series?
Just the kids in general.
They're so cute.
Those kids, I've said it 1,000 times, as long as those kids don't get into drugs, those kids are going places.
Oh,
those
they're
kids
so
are
talented.
all such good actors.
Unbelievably talented.
I don't think I've ever seen such good children actors before in my life. And I'm like, what the crap? I didn't know kids could act!
And I think they auditioned a ridiculous amount of kids for this.
Yeah?
I read it somewhere. I want to say it was like almost like 1,000. But
What?
it's probably too much, but I remember reading it and like they looked for a long time to find the right kids, and they
found them.
They did.
Because those
That
kids
cast
are perfect.
they're so cute.
They're the cutest,
I never
most
want them to
adorable.
grow up ever.
They're so endearing.
And
they act like kids. They act their age. Mm-hmm. And they're so realistic.
Seeing them on their little talk shows is
So good.
unbelievably cute.
And just like the
never get
simple
old.
scene where they're inside like the principal's office after Will gets taken, and they're like bickering back and forth. I'm like, that's the most believable thing I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, about the Hobbit. Then it's like, well, he said
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. Like, well,
It
was the
doesn't
Hobbit.
matter!
Yeah,
Shut up! They're just punching each other.
they're
Like,
little nerds.
perfect.
I mean, Dustin, obviously the best
Cutest.
one,
He's so cute.
the cutest kid,
He's got a little marshmallow face. He's like a Shiba Inu if they were a person. Just the way when he smiles, his cheeks
his
just...
smile is the cutest thing.
Oh my god.
I think this whole podcast is just me going to be talking about how cute Dustin was, how Steve Harrington is like one of the greatest characters
One of the best written characters of all time.
And we'll talk about we'll get to Barb. We'll
Yes.
talk about
We'll talk about
about Barb too. Don't worry,
Yeah,
it's all
we'll-
gonna be there.
Don't worry.
But, I mean, Dustin also references all the Star Wars stuff.
Yes.
So I think he
Lando.
calls... Lando Calrissian! And he even calls, I think, 11 Yoda, and being like, oh my god, she's like Yoda. When he can move this stuff.
Yeah.
And...
So cute.
When, with the traitor, every time he just yells, Lando Calrissian! Which is now just what anyone should yell.
Always.
When they're a traitor.
Always.
Sorry, traitor, the Force Awakens traitor. No, the original traitor is Lando Calrissian.
Yep. Also, it sounds better.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just rolls off the tongue better.
Lando Calrissian. It's a good way to say it. So, basically, Stranger Things is about this world, the Upside Down.
Yes.
And one child gets trapped there. Other people also get trapped there, but...
No one cares. Apparently.
No one cares about them. And, but again, it makes sense that Will's the one who survives because they've always established that he was good at not being noticed and hiding.
Yeah.
And so I like that they, even though Will was there much longer than characters like Barb, who, I mean, Barb stands out like a sore thumb, but then
she does.
I love her look aesthetically because she...
was from the 80s. Absolutely.
They just time traveled and grabbed her.
Yeah, they did.
Like, there you go.
They're like, here she is. But
and they do a very good job. Everyone looks like they're from the 80s, but Barb...
Perfect.
Perfect.
And of course Barb wouldn't know how to survive there. She has no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
At least Will, because he does role-playing.
Yes.
Like, he's... well, this is crazy because it's real life now, but I at least know weird things, like...
I play these kind of games with my friends a lot.
Yeah. I can entertain the idea that these things are real. Mm-hmm. Especially because they're a kid. Like, he probably thinks some of that stuff was real anyway. You know what I mean? Like, so...
I love Will. Will's so cute.
Just every single character in that show is so well written. My heart bled for Will's mother the entire time. How many times did I cry?
Mothers, like... Children being taken away from their mothers is the worst thing, is the thing that would guarantee to make me cry. Yeah. I've mentioned this before. I cried twice in the whole Star Wars trilogy, and one of those times is when Anakin has to leave his mom, and his mom can't go with him. Like that, any sort of thing where children have to or leave their mother and they're separated, and it just tears me apart. The whole Byers family.
Oh my god.
I mean, I obviously love Jonathan because that's just my character archetype, is that I'm like, oh, here's the little socially awkward dweeb kid. I love him. And
he cares about his brother, and he loves his mom.
Sibling relationships. And the second they were like, oh, Will has a brother and Mike has a sister, I was like, ship it. They weren't even, like, in a scene together yet. I'm like... They're gonna be a thing, aren't they?
Yeah. You were like, this is gonna be my ship, isn't it? No, it was your ship.
It was. Nailed it.
Didn't happen, but...
But, I at least I got, like, established enough that, like, there was stuff there.
Yeah.
There was stuff there. And I actually love Steve, so...
Yeah. I wanted to hate Steve.
We've talked about it so many times, where even when we were watching the show... Every time Steve would do something really shitty, I'd be like, thank God, because I've been wanting to hate Steve this whole time.
But then he'd be like, I'm sorry, I overreacted, or I'm sorry, I was a jerk, and I'm sorry. And you're like, wait. He reacts
exactly like a real person would.
You're like, wait, you're gonna admit that you were wrong, and you're gonna apologize, and you're gonna try to make up for it like a real human being? Stop it, I want to hate you.
I wanted to hate him so badly, and he would just finally do that thing that made me hate him. And then, like, when they do the Nancy is a slut thing on the movie poster, like, finally, there we go. And they get in that big squabble, and like, fine, I can hate Steve. But then he goes up to, like, the movie poster, like, the guy who's cleaning it, and he's like, can I help? And the guy's like, you're the one who did this. And he's like, I know,
I was stupid.
I was really, really stupid. And then after, like, Nancy and Jonathan are like, dude, like...
Get out of here.
Stop. You're being the worst.
Go the fuck away. And then he is the one that comes back in with the bat, right? And he's like, okay, let's fight this thing, I guess. What is it? I don't know. But we gotta kill it.
That sort of dynamic is one of my favorite scenes, because Jonathan and Nancy, I mean, they're scared, but they sort of know what's going on. And Steve is just like, what the shit?
What's happening?
So we've got, like, badass Nancy with a gun, I think Jonathan had the bat at one point. I know it eventually gets handed off to Steve, but just terrified Steve with his, like, fists up and, like, this is fine. Okay.
He's like, let's fight it, whatever it is. What is it? I don't know.
Like, we're quite literally hunting a monster here.
Yeah.
And then
Jump!
he goes and buys the new camera for Jonathan.
Yep.
Which is another plot point I want to bring up, because what Jonathan did, that was really creepy.
Really fucked up.
So, I couldn't even be mad at what Steve did there.
No.
Because if I was in Steve's shoes, I would have done the same thing.
And if I were in Nancy's shoes, I would have wanted someone to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, no, that's fucking creepy that you were taking pictures of me.
In a state of undress.
Yeah. Especially when it was happening, I was like, oh, stop it, you're making me not like you,
No.
Stop, you're being a creep, stop.
And he was just out looking for his brother.
He was, but then he got distracted because of his dick.
Yeah.
He was like, oh no, my penis says that there's a lady over there.
But, like, I forget what his real reasoning was, like, for it was, like, because he did have a non-perverted reason, but, like, not quite good enough, Jonathan.
Did
he? He was
Pretty
just kind of
sure.
explaining that he liked taking candid photos,
Oh.
and he'd always seen Nancy putting up this, like,
Oh,
act
yeah.
in front of other people, and so he was, like, kind of just liking the image where she just seemed really real.
Yeah.
And so
I
he was
guess.
it.
But you could have done that in a place where she wasn't actually getting undressed, where she wasn't actually, like, vulnerable in an actually, like, physically vulnerable way.
But he got a picture of the monster, so...
Yeah, well, I mean...
I wish they had gone about it a little bit of a different way.
But it makes Will be a real
maybe-
character, because he's just
Yeah.
a stupid boy.
Oh, Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan.
Yeah.
It makes... Did I say someone else?
You said Will.
My bad.
Will's in the Upside Down!
I'm sorry, but no, it makes Jonathan seem like a real teenage boy.
That's
where he's
very
like,
true.
He's like, no one will know that I did this.
Yeah.
Oops.
My bad.
They do.
I didn't know. Even though he was... I'm sure he doesn't have another place he can develop them.
No, but I know, but he was developing them at school. I was like, what an idiot.
Come on,
Of course somebody's gonna walk into the dark room. It's not your private dark room.
No.
You don't.
Or even, because he was taking pictures of, like, Barb, and,
Yeah.
like, Barb was on, like, the
Diving board.
diving board.
Yes.
I wish they could have been like, I didn't know you were in the background. I just like the
Mhm.
composition with Barb. Either way, even if he was doing sort of a creepy thing,
Yeah.
when Steve found out, don't blame him, would have
Nope.
done the same thing.
Would have done the same thing. But he gets him a new camera, even though he kind of doesn't deserve a new camera.
No.
But he's like,
But
you know
Steve's
what?
just such a good guy!
He's like, you know what? I destroyed your camera. I kind of overreacted. So, here you go. Sorry about that, buddy.
Which leaves me to wonder what's going to happen in season 2, because we do know that Steve was originally supposed to be written out of the show.
Yes.
And then they just liked the actor so much. We're like, we're going to keep him around.
Right.
I guess. And obviously, I don't think he's going to last season 2. So either he's going to die or he's going to be the bad guy.
Maybe. Or they could even just do the thing. They're in high school. Dad could get a new job and he could have to move away.
Steve Harrington has to move.
And he's like,
Bye.
but I'm in my senior year. And Dad's like, whatever.
Bye.
Gotta go.
Peace. I
Are they
feel like
seniors? Do we know what year they're in? Maybe not. Maybe they're not seniors.
Juniors?
Yeah, whatever.
I'm going to go with juniors. Why not?
Probably.
Sophomores.
Because if they would have been... They probably wouldn't have made them seniors if they wanted to make another season. Because then
Oh, yeah.
the kids would go away to college.
That's true. Oh, because they have that thing where they do talk about college, though. Because
Oh.
Jonathan always wanted to go to, I think,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Northwestern?
Yeah.
So I am going to go with juniors. They're juniors.
It's not super...
Maybe. I don't know.
I guess it's not
This-
super relevant.
This is very important. We're going to keep talking about this for the next 20 minutes. But Steve, great character. I'm curious about how they're going to... Because to me, they kind of have to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Unless him, Jonathan, and Nancy just become the OT3, and that's...
Which I'd be fine with.
Which is great. That's...
It's fine.
That I want Steve to be in love with Jonathan, so...
OT3s.
I'm in love with it.
We're
It's
fine
great.
with it.
This is a totally sophisticated talk.
I love
Non-biased.
progressive three relationships. It's fine with me.
The
I don't care.
greatest. And so I mean we'll talk about Barb a little bit
Yeah,
now.
let's talk about Barb now.
Barb has become the meme queen.
Oh my goodness.
She has gone viral, and because I think someone you work with even said Barb was their favorite character.
Yes.
So I was kind of expecting a lot more from Barb. So when she dies, I'm like, oh, she's coming back,
Right? That's what I thought,
everyone's
too.
talking about how much they love Barb.
Right.
Oh, she's
Which
gone.
I can understand from this standpoint, where Barb, when people are like, justice for Barb, I'm like, I absolutely agree. They killed her off and didn't do anything else from it. But Barb shouldn't come back. Barb needed to die. What they needed to do, though, is have Nancy address the fact that she killed her best friend.
Mm-hmm.
They needed to have everyone talk about how they were going to tell Barb's parents. Were they going to tell Barb's parents that she died somewhere? Or were they going to tell... They're not going to tell Barb's parents anything. Just let them keep looking for her.
Yeah,
Or...
that's what needs to happen.
Or, like, actually...
That's how justice needs to happen.
Even showing Barb's parents looking for her. Like, they really didn't even do that. And, like...
And they cut to this really happy ending.
Where you're like, you shouldn't be that happy, Nancy.
No.
You killed your best friend.
You still need to be concerned about this. I get that, like, the Byers family, they're allowed to have their happy moment.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, that's fine.
They don't know Barb.
The Wheelers
Yeah.
should have their... Nancy should have had her moment. She gets this really nice...
Happy ending
with Steve, and she gets this, like...
She's like, oh, look, and I'm friends with Jonathan now, too.
Yeah.
Ooh, my life is great. Your best friend is dead.
And
Did you forget?
I mean, I just have to assume season 2 they're going to deal with it.
They have to. If they don't, that's real fucked up.
Yeah.
I think they have to, considering how much people are like, justice for Barb.
Definitely. And I think even the creators have said, like, don't worry,
Yeah.
she'll get her justice. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I just hope that justice is Nancy in the town caring about what happened
Yes.
to Barb. Not that Barb is somehow still alive. Because then we get to the Darth Maul syndrome, where I'm like,
No, a character doesn't get to come back just because you like them.
Because that instills, like, a false hope and a false sense of security in a TV show.
It
that
also
shouldn't have that.
Yeah, it does comic book syndrome, where I'm like,
If
when
someone
someone
dies,
dies in a
like-
comic book, I'm always just like, they're gonna come back. They never keep anyone dead.
No.
When, like, let's go back a few years when Damian Wayne died, and I was furious for about 2 seconds, because I was like, this is stupid, and then I was like, never mind, they're just gonna bring him back. And what did they do? They brought him back. Like, always. People are talking about right now, rumors are Tim Drake might be dying, and I'm like, cool, who cares? What, every
He'll
Robin,
be back.
every Robin's just gonna die? Cool. The next will do Dick, whatever. And then they have the Lazarus pit, like,
There you go.
no one stays dead. It doesn't instill a fear or a sense of urgency.
And so then you're not afraid of this monster, which you're supposed to not really know anything about.
Right.
You're not scared of this monster anymore if you're like, oh, well, it doesn't really kill people. And
It needs to.
it needs to. And a lot of people... I want to talk about the Jimmy Fallon sketch. If
Yeah.
any of you have seen this.
Yes.
There's the Jimmy Fallon sketch that we have Barb come back, and Barb's like... Or the person who's playing Barb is yelling because they didn't come back and save her. They only saved one person. I'm like, that's because 11 found you and was like, she's dead.
She was dead, like, that day.
Yeah.
She died, like, an hour. We
And
saw
they
her die, pretty
explain
much.
why Will's still alive.
Yeah.
They're like, Will built a fortress. He's a good hider, and he's good at no one noticing him.
Yeah.
That's why Will's still alive. And... again, like we talked about, he also plays Dungeons and Dragons a lot. This is a situation that maybe through his games he could prepare himself for
Yeah.
a little bit.
He could be like, okay, this one time I did this in Dungeons and Dragons, so I'm gonna try and do that.
But 11 found Barb. They did. They went into the Upside Down looking for Barb and Will.
Uh-huh.
They did do that. But,
And she saw Barb with a slug crawling out of her mouth, and she's
being
like, she did.
She did. That's what she
did.
yelled. She yelled, she did.
She did, son. That's what she yelled.
Oh, snap. You ain't even a person.
You ain't even a person.
But, so I'm like, you can't really get mad at that specific thing.
Right, what are you gonna do? They could have dragged back her
They could
corpse.
have brought
but
back the body.
At that point where they, like, saw Barb's corpse, wasn't Will's...
Will's
dying.
dying.
Yeah, Will was dying at that point. Bring back Barb's corpse, or bring back someone who's alive.
Yeah.
Bring back the kid who's alive. Sorry.
And definitely there's priorities there that make sense. The one thing that we need to see is how it affects Nancy.
Yes.
Which, hands down, I think they're going to deal with. But the reason why they left Barb there, I get.
Yeah.
They needed to save Will. it's really, really dangerous there.
Yes.
And Will's dying. They have the potential to save him.
Mm-hmm.
And, to be honest, like...
What are you gonna do, drag Barb's corpse back the whole time? Like, what are you gonna do, like, literally drag it?
And they even
And
saw
then how are
the
you
other,
gonna explain
the scientist guy. They found his corpse there, too. They just...
Yeah.
Like, he did.
Because if you do bring back Barb's corpse, how are you gonna explain what happened to it?
Yeah.
And in that moment, there's someone who's alive, there's someone who's dead. You're not gonna think. You're gonna think, I'm gonna save this kid. Mom's gonna think, I'm gonna save my son. The sheriff's gonna be like, I'm gonna save the kid who's dying because directly... we saw his moment where he was like, oh, this is my daughter all over again.
Yeah.
Both of them were in the, we need to do something right now moment, not, let's stop and think about dragging Barb's corpse back. Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. So, when... Like, again... Justice for Barb.
Yeah,
Everything's at the same
absolutely.
time. But it's more like justice for Nancy's character arc.
Yeah.
That it should deal with that.
Yeah.
'Cause
Justice
this
for
is
Barb
her fault.
and making people care.
And because, like, 100% her fault.
Mm-hmm.
Nancy didn't leave when Barb wanted to. And Barb is a good-ass friend and was like, Nancy's making bad decisions.
I'm gonna stay here just in case
stay.
she wants to leave.
She's bleeding because Nancy made her chug a beer. And
It was like, peer
chug-
pressure, let's
yeah.
be cool.
This is 100% Nancy's fault.
Yes.
And Nancy's even the one, I think she's the one that realizes that the monster's drawn to blood because of the deer. So, I wish there was... We could have even seen that in season 1, but I assume they'll
touch on
they'll
that.
touch it
They have to.
in season 2.
The only way, we've talked about this a little bit, the only way I'm okay with quote-unquote Barb coming back is if the monster, like, takes her skin. Like, a monster, doesn't have to be the same monster we
I
saw
agree with
before,
that, yeah,
but if,
completely.
like, a upside-down doppelganger comes through, because this is D&D, you can do so many things where someone could have taken her body. That way, the actress could still come back, but the character we know as Barb, she's still gotta stay dead.
Exactly. Like, yeah. Barb's consciousness, dead. But, like, her body can come back.
And then the kids are like, whoa, what the hell? And then Nancy also has to deal with, like, so Barb's back, but you're weird, you're acting weird now, and... Is it just me? Is it my guilt? Like, her going through that kind of stuff? That would be really interesting and really, really cool. And that's a way for, another way for Barb to get justice and still be brought back. But, again, Barb has to stay dead. I'm sorry.
That
Barb,
risk,
as we know her, is dead.
that
has
risk
to be.
needs to be there. The monster needs to kill people, and it needs to kill good people that we cared about. And I don't say, like, it doesn't need to kill a main character. Like, I would have been devastated if Will died.
Oh my god.
But... Like, again, Barb wasn't, like, a huge plot-heavy character, but she was a character that was important to Nancy.
And, let's be honest, Will is not safe. Will might die next season. He's going through some crap.
And I can't
The Demigorgon got him. How many times does he have to say that? The Demigorgon got him.
Demigorgon got me.
It got him. He's throwing up slugs. He could be transforming into the monster for next season, and he might die.
Yeah, that scares me.
It's terrifying, and I don't want it to happen.
I can't even think about, like, what's going on, because, like, I want to figure this out.
Yes.
And I have no idea what's going on with
Nope.
Will. I have no idea what direction they're going to take him.
Nope.
Like,
I'm scared for him, though.
Yeah.
I'm terrified for Will.
it's not going to be good.
No.
I just want the Byers family to be happy. Their lives suck.
But I'm like, realistically, how are they going to be able to save him unless it's with the sheriff and his connections through the government now?
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the sheriff obviously sided with the government, and I'm assuming this, like, supernatural phenomena went on past the small local government.
Oh, yeah.
It has to be a higher thing, like an MIB
Also,
type of
because
thing.
11 is 11, I
Yes.
wonder if we're going to see or hear about any of the 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm curious if those are the
right.
other potential kids that may or may not exist.
They did say that I'm pretty sure they said that they all died. But, again, plot devices, you can always have one of them still alive.
One of them, I mean, they've been hiding, they made a full cotton corpse of Will.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, this is
They could be,
great.
the government could be hiding them in a whole, like, MIB fashion. What's the district, I can't remember. The place that the government exists, and that's where they hide the aliens? What's that conspiracy?
It's just...
District 9? I don't
No.
know.
Now it's gonna bug me and I hate you. It's
626, that's Stitch.
I feel like it's not District, because I feel like that's just Hunger Games.
Oh, also because District 9 was a movie. But it's like something like that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I definitely knew. Area 51.
Area 51. Yeah, Area 51. Yep.
Nailed it.
They could be hiding them in an Area 51 type fashion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or, like, even just bringing them up in general, they could just be dead, but, like, you're finding out more about the program. Also, where is 11? Is 11 in the Upside Down, too?
Goodness.
Is Will gonna be able to find her in the Upside Down?
Yeah. Is
Or
Will gonna have to save her now?
Is she
or
just
maybe?
in that, like, middle ground place? Like, the pure black place that
she's
isn't?
typing on the... Is she walking the tightrope?
Yeah. We're going to have to see, but I wanted to, like, try to think
Decipher
of, like,
things,
decipher things, and I can't do it,
You
which
can't, there's
is exciting,
not enough.
but there's also, not enough.
Yeah, but I like not knowing where we're going.
And I
has
didn't
so
know
much
there was going to be
potential.
a season 2, so they probably weren't dropping too many hints for season 2, and they just kind of left it open-ended, like, 11's not really dead.
They dropped hints in the trailer for it, but I didn't write them down, so there's nothing we can really talk about there.
Thanks.
Go watch the trailer.
You're helpful.
Something about... I know Halloween is a thing.
Oh.
It's going to be coming out around Halloween, that's all I know.
This year?
No, not this Halloween. The next following Halloween.
I was like, how are they going to do that?
Oh, God!
That's so soon.
No.
I'd be excited, though. So, let's, do you have any...
They said something about Pumpkin Patch, that's why.
Ooh.
The Great Pumpkin Patch, or something. Something about a pumpkin patch. So the only thing I remember.
Can Will be, like, Linus?
Please?
And just, like, waiting for the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown?
Yeah.
So, let's, do you have any issues with the series that you want to discuss? Because, like, besides, like...
The Barb thing, the Nancy
Barb,
thing. The Nancy thing is a huge thing on my list, because Nancy does not hit the same level as, like, almost every other character does.
Yes. Even, I mean, we'll talk about Steve once, I'll talk about Steve a million times. Holy crap, that character was well written. Like, when, you know me, when I ship something, and I was, like, on the Nancy, Jonathan, train,
Hard.
and I'm like, I'm ready to hate Steve, just ready, out of obligation towards the thing that I ship, and
You couldn't.
I couldn't.
You couldn't.
Couldn't do it. He's such a great character and realistic and really cares about Nancy.
Yeah.
You start to think that maybe he doesn't.
Yeah.
But
then he does.
He does. He really
And
cares about Nancy.
To the point where you're always like, what do you see at Nancy? Because, let's be honest, Nancy's kind of a bitch.
She's smart and
She's beautiful.
She's cute.
And she's smart, but I mean, she's very much a realistic teenage girl where she's like being a bitch to her brother, and like she's
well, like
You know what I
even
mean?
Jonathan makes a point of
Yeah.
that, of being like, I was starting to think you were cool and not like every other like suburban rebellious teenage girl
Yeah.
who's just. But you're like
But you're just gonna fall in love with the first guy that you meet, and then you're just gonna stay here forever, aren't you? Cool.
Yeah. You say that's not what you want, but that's exactly...
Yeah.
You're going to be exactly like your parents.
Yeah.
And you say you hate them because your parents don't love each other.
Yeah.
And...
But you're on that path right now. It's obvious. And she's like, no, me. And you're like, oh, okay.
That's fine.
She's a very realistic character, but because she didn't get that, like, redemption with Barb, and you never see that depth that all these other characters reach, because, like, all of them care that someone is taken away from them. Nancy doesn't care.
She doesn't get that...
The kids care because
Chance.
Will's gone. Like, everyone else cares because someone else is gone. Nancy doesn't get that, so I don't care about her as much. And so I want that to happen in season 2, because I'm like, I want to care about Nancy. I want to care about all these
I want her to
characters.
fully realize what's happened here.
Yes.
And, like...
Fully grasp it.
Like, I was like, I think my biggest... I shouldn't say qualm with the series. It wasn't even a problem. It just... When it comes to monster movies, I don't like seeing the monster.
Oh, yeah.
So, because it's scarier when you don't see the monster. And I can understand definitely revealing it at
Getting glimpses of
a
it,
good
I don't
point.
mind.
You saw a lot of it, though.
Yeah.
It's there a lot.
Near
And
the end,
even
too.
near the end, it's there a lot, but it's like, I'll bring in the Doctor Who with the Weeping Angels. The reason why the Weeping Angels were so scary is because you never saw them move. And we were led to believe that they took a different form when you weren't looking at them. So that they just turned to stone when you looked at them. So they were... But then Stephen Moffat just was like, you know what? My best creation, my best villain creation, I'm going to make them horrible. So now you see them move, and they just look like rocks moving.
Yeah.
That's not, like, the scary part was that you never saw them move.
And to be honest, like, I think it would have looked, like, I understand. They had a budget that they had to do with. And, like, it kind of fits with the 80s theme that the monster didn't look so great sometimes. But that's the best thing about those old scary movies is because they would only give you, like, a quick glimpse of it. You'd only see, like, an arm or something. There's even
parts in the finale where the lights are strobing, so it's the perfect way to just be, like,
There's
see
something.
it for a second.
Yeah.
And
it's the Slenderman theory, where, like, your brain fills in scarier things than what you showed me. Because when you finally see it, you're like, oh, it's like a weird plant thingy? It's got like a weird,
Venus flytrap.
Yeah,
man.
It's got like a weird, what's going on?
Doesn't have a face.
I thought it was going to be way spookier.
Yeah, it's not a very scary monster.
It's not. Like, if it were coming at me in real life, absolutely.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But
the reveal of it,
yeah.
Like, for monsters, one of the scariest monster thing for me even is Slenderman, because it's
no face.
No face.
They tried to incorporate that, yeah.
And they do talk about
weird
how the monster is it doesn't have a face.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely interesting, but I think they showed it more than they should.
Yeah. So I think it just would have been better if they would have just kept on with the 80s training of, like, being like, I'm only gonna show it, like, here's an arm, here's a leg, show it, like, its silhouette. But they flat out, like, boom, here's the monster, and you're like, you guys, oh.
Yeah.
That budget. I do appreciate they did mostly practical effects.
Yeah.
But.
And I think the monster was mocap.
Oh, yeah.
He was a man in a suit.
I'm like, I appreciate that, but because you didn't have, like, a full movie budget, it still looks glaringly obvious that it's not there. Which I guess kind of works, because it is from a different universe, but nah, sorry, it takes me out of it.
Well, and when you're in a world that's, like, the Upside Down, I kind of expected it to look more, like, again, like a Slenderman thing. Mm-hmm. He's kind of like this Upside Down, like, Inside Out, kind of, like, human monster man. Just, you saw too much of it, for my taste, for it to be scary.
No, I agree.
And just given its design, again, in real life, scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, but
it's that
in the context of the universe, watching it from my couch and watching a show, I'm like, well, now I can definitely be like, this is a show.
This is a
TV show.
Yeah.
It took me out of it a little bit.
I agree. We've talked about this before, but I'm going to talk about Monsters, Inc. and how in real life, Mike, I think I'd be more terrified of seeing Mike than I would Sully.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because Mike is a giant eyeball.
With legs.
If that thing was in my room just staring at me,
I mean,
if Sully was there too, but I think they even mentioned that Sully looks like a bear.
Sully looks more like an animal.
So I would be like, shit, there's a bear in my room, but at least I'm not...
At least you're like, you can rationalize what it is.
Yeah.
If I were to see a giant eyeballs with horns and, like, a huge mouth coming at me, I'd be like, what is that?
Why is this thing staring at me? And the thing's staring at you, right?
Nope.
Creepy.
Nope.
Creepy as well.
It's harder for my brain to rationalize what that could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, season 2, really excited. It's going to be really good to see these kids, and I want them never to grow up, so they better start filming right now.
And they better put those kids on... Is there the opposite of growth hormones? Are there youth? We need a fountain of youth to keep these children small.
Small and cute forever. Their voices are already changing.
I know, I was just gonna say!
Don't do this to them!
Stop it, let them stay so small.
Lando Calrissian.
Lando Calrissian!
It's so good. So, yeah. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything. Besides the fact, I wanted the sheriff to adopt 11. That's what I wanted.
Oh, yeah!
That's what I wanted to happen.
And that's got to be another season 2 thing.
I hope so.
He's gotta adopt 11.
We gotta save 11 from wherever she is. Mm-hmm. And I want the sheriff to adopt her, and that's what I want that to happen.
And they'll be this happy little family.
And also, I want to say, rest in peace, I forgot his name, but the cook from the diner fell in love with him. Bobby, Barry, something like that. Rest in peace. I loved him. I fell in love
so much.
I was like, he is so beautiful. He's this big bar of man, and he's just making sure the little girl is taken care of. Oh, now he's dead. What? What?
You were so excited, and
I was like, I'm in love with the... I was like, this is gonna be my favorite character. and then he died.
Died like 20 minutes later.
Yeah.
I apologize greatly for that.
I'm so... Rest in peace, my love.
Yes, rest in peace.
My love, whose name I can't remember. That's how you know the love
I'm
is
just
real.
calling him Bobby. I feel like Bobby's... I don't feel like that was it, but...
I for some reason, I feel like it's Barry, because
Billy?
Maybe.
Billy
Billy
we're probably
Bob.
totally wrong. It's probably like Greg or something.
Billy Bob, Barney,
Nailed it.
Bobby.
Perfect.
God damn it, baby.
That's it. There we
you
go.
Alright. Yeah, that's
So-
we can end on that, I guess?
Yeah, so
Rest in
that's
peace.
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. And if you've
our
gotten...
Stranger Things rant. And
If
let
you-
us know in the comments how you enjoyed Stranger Things, what you want to see for season 2. If you have any idea what's happening to Will, because I don't.
Yeah. Should we do a Boink, Marry, Kill?
Oh yeah, Boink, Marry, Kill.
Should we do Nancy, Jonathan, and Steve?
Yeah, they're almost legal. That's more fair.
Yeah. We can't do the kids. That's gross.
Alright. Oh man.
I'll marry Steve. Oh, no.
Oh, I'm like, that's harder.
I'll kill Nancy. I'll boink Steve and marry Jonathan, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess? Because I feel like Steve is a better lay. I feel like Jonathan would not be a good lay. I feel like he'd be very awkward.
Well, we know Steve's experience, so...
Well, kind of. He kind of just was like, ooh, let's have sex with Nancy and fall asleep immediately after. And I was like, wow.
Well, yeah, okay, I guess that's true. We know he's not a...
He's not good, but I feel like Jonathan would be like, where do I put my hand? What do I do with these?
That's very valid.
What? And you just be like, oh my god.
And I'm inclined to agree at that point, then.
Do I bring up my camera? No, you don't bring out your camera! And he's like, oh.
I'm from the 80s. It's
What
fine.
happens? I don't have any condoms. I don't want to go buy them. It's embarrassing. I feel like that's what Jonathan would be like.
There we go.
And I mean, just kill Nancy, because again, she didn't get enough character.
Yeah. And
We'll see at the end of
I
season
could
2.
not kill Jonathan, and Steve does not deserve it.
No,
Steve, where he is right now as a character,
doesn't deserve it.
doesn't deserve it.
We'll see at the end of season 2.
Yeah.
We'll do this again at the end of season 2.
Just be like, Steve deserves to die at this point.
Maybe.
Anyway, so as you've, I do want to bring this up. As you have noticed that we have been audio only, and that's, we still want to do video. It is just very, very extensive on our hardware.
Yes, we do not have the hardware for it, unfortunately.
It is very difficult for us. So video will happen. It's just going to be frequent and for like special podcasts. So a lot of people were talking about that on our latest one.
Yeah, they were.
And so I just want to address that a little bit. We are working on it, and it is going to be a goal on our Patreon that we do have, is that we'll do constant video podcasts.
Once we are able to have the funds for that. Because as of right now, we cannot afford to upgrade our systems at all. We can hardly afford groceries.
As it is. We just like talking about stuff. It doesn't really make our computers better.
No, it doesn't.
Or we do not have great software.
We don't even have good internet.
First volume. Like, I think I could even, the first episode, I think I could only upload it at 480p, and that still took like 6 hours to upload.
And we couldn't do anything else while it was uploading.
Yeah, it's difficult. Anyway, so that's an option. And, and then the giveaway. We'll do a giveaway. We're going to do just a little care package of nerd stuff for you guys.
Yes.
Actually, we'll do Loot Anime.
Yeah, let's give Loot Anime.
We're going to give away another Loot Anime this time around. And just in the comments below, let us know who your favorite of the kids were.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Don't boink, marry, kill them. That's weird.
Don't do that.
Just tell us who your favorite was. Mine was 11.
11 or Dustin.
Yeah.
I loved all of them. And actually, the actor, I forgot his name, the actor who plays Lucas is the cutest.
He's so cute.
Oh my god. Like, Lucas himself wasn't, like, one of my favorite characters.
No, but the actor
is the cutest.
Bad butt.
It's a bad butt, because I didn't want to say badass.
I won't say the bad word. Go ahead and say it, Millie. Badass.
So good.
Cute. They're cute. All right.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening to an episode of Who Talks First. I am Courtney.
And I'm so Grayson.
And we'll see you next time.
80s music.